Good morning, pineapple. Looking very good, very nice. Who's this? Hello, I'm back again with another video. Yes, the hair is less crazy than usual, which, you know, is a bonus, so you're welcome. If you're new here, I'm Alice. We talk about books, we do vlogs, car vlogs, bit of lifestyle, bit of everything. So if you're looking for someone to stick on in the background while you make yourself a meal, clean your room, do that thing you've been putting off for weeks, months, years, whatever, or you just want someone to listen to, you know, a little friend, I'm your gal. So consider hitting that subscribe button and welcome on into the family. It is free and you can unsubscribe at any time. I mean, please don't leave me, but you know, you do you, you do you. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for your continued support. So let's get on with today's video. Today we are taking it old school, and I'm talking old school in terms of popularity of the books, but also old school in terms of Alice reader. When I got over my slump, my big mega slump, which is in a video somewhere on my channel, so go on, go have a little find. It would be like a Where's Wally or Where's Waldo, is it, if you're in America? Whichever one, and see if you can go find it, go watch it. But when I got over my slump, I got into a lot more reading, and I read a series that I guess I had been interested in reading for a while, and that series is Shadow and Bone trilogy. Ow! Good vibes. You can see these have been very well loved. They're beautiful covers, but they don't do very well under duress, under intense reading conditions, basically. So yeah, this comes in this little box. Let's get these out today. There we go. Now I know that the author Leigh Bardugo, people are a little bit like not sure on her. Some people really like her, some people don't. I will say I do have Six of Crows and King of Scotland. I do have the rest of her repertoire. I just haven't gone back to it yet, but I will go back. Here is the big reveal of the covers. Look, they're shiny, shiny, shiny. Anyway, let's do a little tour first. So this is the Shadow and Bone, sorry. Cover, nice gold side, bit messed up, sorry. But, you know, a book should be well loved. It's not like it's kept in the box. It's not like everywhere, but you know what I mean. Good vibes, very well loved. This is the exact page where I messed up the spine. Something great must have happened. Ooh, good moment. That's Shadow and Bone. This is Siege and Storm green. So obviously, naturally, my favorite color, my favorite book. Look at that. Shiny. This one it's not a deep of a moment. You can't notice it as much, but it's been loved, you know. Finally, we have Ruin and Rising, beautiful red colour. I really do very much like the colour scheme. I think it's quite regal and it suits it well. So let's talk about Shadow and Bone today. The Shadow and Bone series is a fantasy, kind of high fantasy, I guess, series. It's definitely adventure, and we also have a lot of world building. I know it's only 3 books, but we literally enter a whole new universe, so I very much like that about this. I think this series, when people talk about it, push a little bit towards YA. I would say it might be a little bit more than YA, so I feel like it had a bit more maturity in it. So I don't really know if it would be classed as that, but I think this would be great for anybody to read. I did really enjoy this series, and the only thing that was a shame is that where they started making the series and they've overlapped it with the Six of Crows. So I did actually have to postpone from watching season 2. I know it came out ages ago because I wanted to read Six of Crows first because I didn't want it to spoil anything. So that's been a shame, but that's okay because I will get there. We love Ben Barnes, icon, Prince Caspian. If you know, you know. Yeah, I would say that's the sort of genre. It's something different, and it's its own kind of, like I said, universe. It's not the fantasy that you probably normally expect or read about. You know, you've got the Fae and all of that. This is very much its own world, its own entity, and I like that a lot. I do like that a lot. Let's talk about each book individually very quickly. We won't go too in-depth today. If you want an in-depth review, then let me know in the comments down below. This is definitely gonna be, try not to be any spoilers. There might be a couple of mentions of characters' names, but no spoilers. I'm just gonna talk about it, see how we feel, all right? When I started reading this, because I was just getting back into slump, I didn't rate them the same way I rate my usual books now. I didn't do the stars and then the spice and then would I recommend it and the review. I kind of just wrote a review and a rating out of 10. Now I was putting it on Goodreads, but I'm pretty sure I just gave this whole series 5 stars. If not, definitely 4 stars, and would be no less than 4.5 stars, but I'm pretty sure I gave this 5 stars at the time. I don't know if I would give it 5 stars now. I definitely have to do a reread. That's why it's hard, because it's when you reread things, they might not always be how you remember them, and you don't get to experience it for the first time again, so you're always gonna have a different feeling. But I'm pretty sure I gave this series a 5 star. I don't see why I wouldn't have. For Shadow and Bone, I actually gave this book a 9.5 out of 10. I know, shocking. That is 5-star territory. So I gave this a 9.5 out of 10. I just really loved it. I really enjoyed it, and I was so excited to start the next one and get into the universe, and it just literally had me hooked from the moment I started reading it. I'm pretty sure I read it within 24 hours. Just couldn't stop. Was like so ready for the next one. So I really enjoyed this book. It started off well, was fantastic. Then for Siege and Storm, I gave this one a 9. So again, still really high. Technically a 9 is a 4-star, but I'm pretty sure I gave it a 5-star at the time. Again, really enjoyed it, devoured it, was the best. Now we had a break between 2 and 3 because I had my exams at the time, which I had to really focus on, and I knew the moment I started reading this I was going to be like, couldn't put it down. So I had to restrain for a whole month. I know. So we went through the whole month, then I did like a sort of a little skim reread of this book just to kind of get me hyped for it again. And then I read this one, and again, I very much enjoyed it. I gave it a 9 out of 10. Actually, for once, you know, we're always saying on this channel that the first book's the worst and then you prefer the other 2. Well, apparently I preferred the first book to the other 2. Now, I don't know if this was just at the time I was so into it. I don't really know, but I very much enjoy it. Basically, I think although I had more attachment to the characters in this was the one that I was the most like dreamer, hope. It was nice. It was a really nice feeling. I hadn't had that feeling reading a trilogy since I was younger, reading Divergent or The Hunger Games, those kind of things. I feel like it was really nostalgic in a way, really wholesome, and I very much enjoyed reading these. Now, would you like to hear my reviews? I feel like maybe, okay? Don't worry, I'll give you my reviews and then we won't waffle on for much longer, because I'm going to tell you that you should read these books if you haven't read them. They're just such a nice place to start. You can always just get the first one and see if you like the vibe, and like I said, for me, this was the one I enjoyed the most, so perhaps you'll read this and then absolutely have to get the next one. So yeah, I just think give it a go. I really enjoyed it. I know not everybody likes it, and probably maybe if I reread it now, it was a couple years ago or so, I might think, not sure if I loved it as much as I loved it then, but I really enjoyed it, and it was great for getting into reading. This was a nice introduction to a more fantasy era, like reading more fantasy basically, because at this time I hadn't really branched too much, and it was a nice introduction because you know, I love a good fantasy book, but sometimes it can be a lot and it can be very overwhelming. I feel like this was a nice introduction. Anyway, let's go on with the review. So we're talking about Shadow and Bone, alright? Boom. So I said, plot twist was fantastic. Obviously not going to tell you the plot twist. And the invention of the new universe, absolutely loved it. Literally couldn't put it down. Finished it within 24 hours. See, there you go. I told you. I knew I finished it within 24 hours. Immediately can't wait to start the next one. And you best believe I did. I said, the only reason this book isn't a 10 is because part of me wanted to see Alina and the Dark be a thing. There was something in me that craved this destructiveness. I don't know what it was. I really don't know what it was, but it was begging for it. I was gagging for it, you know. So it might have something to do with the fact that Ben Barnes played the Dark Linen series. But yeah, actually that is a fun fact. I did watch the series before I read the books, which was great because there's definitely more things in here. So I don't think it matters which way you do it around. So if you've already watched the second season or whatever, I think just go for the books as well. Why not? Or if you haven't watched this, give the show a go, see what you think. It's definitely different. On reflection, I was like, oh, they didn't do it all justice. But I really did enjoy it when I watched it at the time. So I'd say go for it. Overall, a fantastic book. Great way to escape, you know, have a bit of escapism and just enjoy another world, especially as I was reading this during a stressful time. It was my final year of uni, we were getting really freaked out. So it was really nice to have this and I really enjoyed it. And I said I would highly recommend, so go read it. I loved it. It was a great time. So snaps and claps for Shadow and Bone. Like I said, we can do an in-depth video on all of these books. I want to have little read. Little one, you know, just a little skim, just check my annotations and stuff like that. I very much enjoyed this. Okay, but on to Siege and Storm now. So let's hear what I had to say about this. This was a 9 out of 10. I said this was a really great book, but I scored it slightly less as I felt they kind of stretched it out a bit too much. The plot was still amazing and I had a great time, but I did feel like it was a bit more of a, you know, when you trudging through the mud and you just got to keep going and muscling in. You know the end's going to be worth it, but I definitely enjoyed it and was there for it the whole time, like throughout the ride. I think because I read Shadow and Bone so like quickly, like literally done. Why am I very sound effecty today? I think I was expecting the same with this one and I got it for the most part, but it was definitely, I was like, come on guys, let's get this together, you know, I feel like we're stretching it a bit now, but I very much still enjoyed it. 9 out of 10 is super high. So I said I love that the author is ruthless. I'm gonna leave that there. I'm not gonna tell you any more about it, but I'm just gonna say I love that from her. She literally doesn't give a fuck. So great times. Loves unleashing a plot twist, honestly. Great plot twist throughout the whole of this series. The actual plot twist, I don't think I guessed any of them throughout the whole book, which is very unusual for me. So great time, snaps and claps. It kind of gives you this feeling that no character is safe because of the way she writes, and I love that because it keeps you on edge, it keeps you wanting more, it keeps you reading, flipping those pages. And I feel like I actually don't know if I could give you a book off the top of my head that kind of has made me feel that way since reading this. So I guess kind of in the ACOTAR series I do get that, there was something about the way she wrote in particular. I feel like she really captures this certain feeling. I feel like if you've read this you'll know, but you know, go read it so you can also understand the feeling. I do quite enjoy that. I was still wishing that they could get together. I know, silly sausage. Or am I tricking you? Dun, dun, dun. The storyline with Mal could have had a little bit of work. I think that's partly why I dropped it a little bit, but I did very much still enjoy. Overall, great read. Really had fun reading it. And I loved some of the characters that we got to see more of in this book. Good job on this book. So then we had the month gap for the exams. We came back and we read Ruin and Rising. So I said really enjoyed this book. I felt like it was a great way to end the trilogy. I think that sometimes you're so excited and so worked up for the final book that it doesn't live up to your expectation standards, but I really did enjoy it, you know. So there's a couple of things I wish had happened, or certain ways that characters had turned out which they didn't, but that's okay, you know, that's fine. It is what it is, but very much enjoyed. I thought the plot twists were amazing and the author in general just did such a fantastic job with these books. I know I keep saying I really enjoyed them, but I had such fun reading these and I really would recommend. Obviously, disclaimer, please read any trigger warnings, especially because I haven't read this book in a long time. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but just check that it's all okay before you read any book, because we want happy and safe readers out there, okay? Again, said plot twists were great. Ruthlessness of the author makes it so unpredictable, nobody's safe. Love that vibe. I'm very thankful to this series for providing that escapism and that excitement. Good job. I feel like it got me through a tough time, so it's really nice when books surprise me. I know that sounds a little bit up my own ass, but it is really nice because I feel like I'm a textbook grade A overthinker, and so I think of hundreds of possibilities of how the book's going to end. So in that way, I normally always guess one of them, or oh yeah, that makes sense, and I start putting things together. Quite an observant person, and this definitely kept me on my toes, and I love it when a series does that. It doesn't let the overthinking win, and I love it because I'm like, yes, yeah, you didn't think of that. So I don't know, it's just a great feeling for me. If you can relate, let me know. So yeah, I said I would really recommend this whole series, and that the Grishaverse definitely has a special place in my heart, and that I am very excited to revisit the Grishaverse in the duology Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. Obviously I was intending on going back to it. I still am intending on going back to it, but I think from the way I've worded it in my review, I knew it would be a little bit of a while before I came back to it, and I think that's okay. I think I'm excited for when we get there, you know. But also, good vibes is actually at the end of this book. I don't know if this is in just this copy, but you actually have a Darkling prequel story. I enjoyed that as well. It's a nice little extra touch, you know? Give the fans what they want. Give the fans what they want. That was great fun. I think on the whole, people on Goodreads give this around 4 stars. I would say give it a go. Why not? You only live once, might as well. If you've got time to read it, or you haven't got a mega long TBR, or you're looking for something new in that realm, maybe you've sort of looked at this series and thought, should I read it? Should I not? I would definitely say give it a go. So that's all we've got for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. Have you subscribed? Thank you very much. Sorry for kicking you. And as always, until the next one, I'll see you then. Bye. Oh, I've got bits of nails. Eraser.